Hi, and welcome to this video in the Ascend project series. Today we're going to be talking about content types. So let's get started by clicking on Structure. And you see that one of our options here is Content Types. Let's click on that. And by default, Drupal 7 comes with two content types, the article and the basic page. Now there's two ways that you can add a content type. The first is by enabling a module, like the blog module, which we'll do later, that will create a content type for you. And the second is you can add a custom content type by clicking this Add Content Type link. Let's add a new content type by going to the Modules tab. And in our filter list, let's click on Blog. You see that blogs come up in the options. Select that and save the configuration. All right, let's head back over the content type and see what's happened. Click on Structure tab, Content Types. You see that blog entry has been added as one of our content types. So before we add our custom content type, let's go into this blog entry and click Manage Fields. Now you see that two fields are configured by default, the title and the body, but you also see that there's a form beneath that allows you to add fields. So this functionality was previously provided by the CCK module. That would be in Drupal 6 and previous to that. In Drupal 7, it's provided by the field module, and that's been moved into core. It's one of the really powerful aspects of content types in Drupal, the ability to add additional fields and to configure them. Now, I'm not going to modify the blog entry, but I do want to click on the Manage Display tab and show you that you can manage the display of your content type. Let's open up this custom display settings, and you can see that for these view modes, you can click RSS or full content, and you can control how this content type is displayed. And I'm not going to do that now. We're just doing a little tour of the features. Let's click on the comment fields here. You can configure how the comment fields for this content type will function, and also the final tab, how the comments will display. Now we'll go over some of these in a little bit more detail. Let's go back out to these content types, and now we're going to add a custom content type. Now the Ascend project is a community website for rock climbers. So the content type that I want to add is about climbing areas. So I'll begin by giving it the name. My content type name is climbing area. I'm not going to add a description at this time. We'll just keep moving. The title field label, instead of it having say the title, I want it to say area name. So we have a name that's more descriptive for our users. And we could put in submission guidelines here, and you can see you set the preview before submitting options. But let's move on to the publishing options tab. You see what we have there, publish, promoted to front page. I'm going to leave this at the defaults, but you could see that we could sticky at the top of lists, or we could have a new revision created on publication. Let's go to the display settings tab. Here we could disable, if we wanted to, the display of the author and date information. I want my users to be able to see who posted the information on the climbing area and the date it was posted, so I'll leave that alone. And the comment settings, I definitely want my users to be able to comment on the different climbing areas, but if you were creating a content type that you didn't want to have comments enabled for, you could close comments, or you could just hide them all together. Let's take a look at the menu settings. You see the available menus that this content type can be assigned to, but just save it. And you see that our climbing area content type has been added. Let's go into Manage Fields. Now, I want to add a couple of fields to this content type. Area name and body, that is not really enough information. So I'm going to put in here latitude and data type here on the field. You see our options, Boolean, decimal, file. In this case, I'm going to set it to float. And the widget, text field's the only option in this case. I'm going to go ahead and save. And for the decimal marker, because it's a float type, we can have the decimal point, or you could change it to the comma. I'm going to leave it at the decimal point. Save that field setting. You see I could change the label if I want to, make it required. There's also some other validation options here, the minimum and maximum values. You can add a prefix here, a suffix, for example, like a $sign or a unit of measure. And we could add a default value, but I'm going to leave these the way that they are, save those settings. And I'm going to add longitude, and this is going to be exactly like latitude. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to leave it at the decimal point. We've reviewed these options already. Latitude and longitude are going to be the same. Save those settings. And you see that I've added 2 custom fields to my content type. All right, so we're done putting together the content type. Why don't we bounce out now and add a piece of content? And you see that one of the types of content that we can now add is climbing area. Let's click on climbing area. I'm going to call my climbing area running wash. I'm just going to put in some filler text. I'm going to add the latitude and longitude. So I've pulled up a climbing area that I'm familiar with. It's Mount Lemmon in the United States, Arizona. And I'm going to add the latitude and longitude provided here. All right. So we see that as we're creating this, the menu settings, we could provide a menu link to this if we wanted. We could create a new revision, make a little revision message. We'll get into path URL settings when we talk about path auto, but for now I'm just going to leave that blank. And even though for the content type we have comments open, we can create individual pieces of content of that type, but we can close the comments if we didn't want a particular topic to have comments, but I'm going to leave it at default. Authoring information, you could change that if you wanted to. Publishing options, you could change those defaults as well, but I'm just going to leave that. So you see we have our first piece of climbing area content. Now next time we're going to be going over views, and I'm going to create some additional climbing areas so that we have some content to work with. But that's it for today. See you next time.